Neil, you've ridden in Grand Prix as well as World Superbike, so the big debate over which is best and who's best and all the rest of it, the two classes, 500s against Superbikes, you know, what's your view on this?
It's a question that I've been asked thousands of times now, and it's difficult to answer which is the best. It depends how, you know, who's the best rider, you know, which is the most competitive. I think spectator-wise, the most enjoyable to watch is Superbikes, definitely. But I still think that Grand Prix is still the premier division. It's a fact, that's what it is. And if people keep saying that, oh, you know, but Superbikes is, you know, it's definitely better, you know, it's not. 500 Grand Prix is the number one, and it's going to be for still a long time, in my opinion. Now, this is only my opinion, because I've done both. I've seen how professional Grand Prix are, seen how professional Superbikes are. But I've got to say that my all-time, not favourite rider, but the rider that I admire the most is Mick Doohan, and he's in Grand Prix, and he's the best motorcycle rider in the world. And this is only my opinion. People might think I'm wrong. People might say Carl Fogarty or John Kaczynski is better than him. They're not. Definitely not. They're nowhere near him, in fact. He's the number one.
Yeah, so that's pretty unequivocal. It's good to hear you say something.
But because I've been asked this question so many times, and people, you know, like sort of
they want to get a story out of it.
Avoid the truth or whatever. You know, that's fact in my opinion. I've been there and seen it, and I've rode against all these riders, and I've been in the Grand Prix paddock and Superbike paddock. So I think I know what I'm talking about now.
So do you think if Mick came over into World Superbikes, he'd cut it in that just as well?
Yeah. I don't think he'd need 1 year to get used to it. I think he could win straight away.
And equally, if you went back into 500s, I mean, have you thought of doing that at all?
I have, yeah, sure. Because in '95 I did the 500 Grand Prix, and I really enjoyed riding the bike. The fact that I couldn't get a factory ride was a bit upsetting, so we had to go look elsewhere to get a factory ride, and so we came to Superbikes. I've enjoyed the 2 years I've done in Superbikes. I've not done well at all. I've been disappointed with my results for lots of different reasons. I've not managed to get the results, but I know this year, now I'm with a good team and a bike that suits me, I'm going to get the results that I want. So as soon as I get the results I want, then I'll enjoy it more, and maybe I'll want to stay in Superbikes a bit longer. But I think at the end of the tunnel, at the end of my career, I would like to be doing Grand Prix.
Principal opposition this year in World Superbikes, forget Grand Prix for now, so who are you up against?
I think this year you'll find there's going to be a lot of unknown quantities. You've got Edwards, he's moved to Honda, you know, a good bike and a good rider, anything could happen there. You've got Haga, this completely crazy Japanese rider on the Yamaha, which is probably not the best bike out there this year. But he's a rider that's going to stick everything out, not just his neck, he'll stick anything out, you know, to get past you. He's completely crazy, I've witnessed that. There's Corsa's come back, you know, and Corsa's on a Ducati. It's a bike he's ridden and won the World Championship on. He likes the bike, seems to like the Italians, so he's going to be a big threat. There's me on the Kawasaki, you know, nobody really knows. So far so good, testing's gone good, but who knows what can happen.
Yeah, I was looking at some of the testing times at Phillip Island, and you were very close to Yanagawa there, weren't you? So you must have been really pleased with that.
Yeah, I'm pleased. I've got to say I'm doing it completely different this year. When I signed for Ducati, I was trying too hard in the pre-season testing, and I crashed a lot. And to be honest, it knocked my confidence. And as the testing went on, I lost confidence with the bike altogether. And this year, it's completely different. One step at a time. Just, you know, I'm going through everything methodically, the setting of the bike, you know, we're testing all these different tyres, and I'm not bothered about doing a time, you know, one fast lap time. So it looks good in the motorcycle news. I'm trying to do race distance and consistency, and so that when that light turns to green, I know I can do 25 fast laps, not, you know, maybe 3, you know, and finish 8th. You know, I want to win.
And what about Yanagawa? How are you getting on with him as a teammate?
Well, I've only ever had 2 teammates before, and I think I've had the 2 worst teammates in the world. I'm not one John Kaczynski and one Carl Fogarty. Yeah. Now, Carl Fogarty is a friend and still is a friend, but when I say worst, he's got such a domineering character, personality. He's quite difficult to work with. So now I've got this quiet, youngish Japanese rider called Akira Yanagawa. He's fantastic. He's polite. He'll do anything for anybody. He's really, really nice to work with.
And he's a racer as well.
He's a racer. He's got the ability. I've got to say, I didn't mention him earlier, but I think he's probably one of the, you know, he's going to finish in the top 2 or 3 in the world. He could win it, you know, if on his day he's very, very fast. And I believe the Kawasaki is the bike to be on this year. So we're going to be a good team. I'm going to learn a little bit off him, and we're going all the way.